You're listening to Permission to Shine, the podcast. Stories of overcoming obstacles and finding self-empowerment with Sherisse Bisram, Inner Power Activation Leader. The Oxford Dictionary describes permission as the action of officially allowing someone to do a particular thing, consent, authorization. What if you were that someone and you gave yourself the permission to be everything you wanted to be and more? No more playing small and accepting less than. You are worthy of the life of your dreams, regardless of what it is that you've been through. And honestly, it's exactly what you've been through that has shaped you into the version of yourself that you are now. Like a diamond, you've endured so much, but instead of breaking, you have become stronger and brighter. And if that's not a reason to shine, then I don't know what is. And if nature can do it, then why the hell can't you? You are brave, you are strong, you are powerful, and you are enough. Hear my call and give yourself the permission to shine, because you don't realise how many people are inspired by your light. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 43. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that I've been doing the podcast for so long now. And on that note, this episode is going to be super short because it's kind of like an end of season roundup, because I feel like I always tried to do 20 episodes per season and I ended up just drifting over this time around. But I wanted to let you know that we were going to have a break if you have been listening up to date, just so you're not like, where did you go? Because I'm still here. I'm just living life. And also, yeah, it's just really important that I live by my values. As you all know, like, I'm very much share real-time experience and as things go on. And yeah, I just feel like energetically it's nice to have a little break every now and again. So it's probably just going to be a couple of weeks and I'll be back in March if you're listening up to date. And obviously if you're not, then it won't affect you at all. But if you do listen up to date, I would recommend you going back, listening again to some other episodes that you might have missed, and or yeah, send me requests, because I'm really happy to cover topics that are relevant to what you need, because that is why I'm here. I think that's all part of my purpose, that word, that golden word that we float around. But I do generally think that is it, you know. And I have a really nice way to kind of round that up for myself as well, because I'm hosting my event in Kent on Saturday. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm sure when I come back, I'll have lots of revelations to share with you around that as well. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to give you a bit of an overview of the energy this last week, and also, you know, what we've kind of been experiencing the past few weeks, because I think like I always say, I think when anything new is ready to come in, the old needs to die. And by that, I mean be released, gotten rid of. You know, you can't be holding on to it, lingering on to, yeah, holding, gripping on tight if you're ready to let something new come into your life. And that's really been, I think, the start of this year. Now, I did say in my very first episode back in 2024 that we energetically aren't prepared for the new year, because this is technically our hibernation time. So, you know, like all animals, well, I say not all, but you know, most animals hibernate through the winter. We're still currently in that winter phase. So that's why things feel a little bit harder, a little bit more difficult. Maybe there's emotions you're processing, thoughts that you're processing. All of that is relative. So yeah, if you're in that space right now where you're thinking it's not quite taken off for me yet, or you know, you entered February and it was like, whoa, if things are moving 100 miles an hour, that is all part and parcel of the seasons changing, right? Because February is technically still winter, but it's gearing us up and preparing us for spring. And I think energetically, a lot of people have entered that space, because for me, I feel like January felt quite stagnant and quite heavy. And yeah, slow. Yeah, it just felt really, really slow. And then all of a sudden, the last couple of days of last couple of days of January was really like rounding up, closing old circles and things like that. So then February, I just kind of like hit the ground running a little bit, and it's been quite overwhelming. And that's the problem, I think, for a lot of us, is that we've gone from being completely still to now 100 miles an hour, and it's finding the grounding in that space for sure, isn't it? And that's not only physically, that's emotionally, intellectually, all of the things. And with that as well, I noticed for myself, like, I've been physically moving my body a lot, which is something that I hadn't really done much of for the last sort of 6 months, maybe even like towards the end of like sort of winter period, I kind of winded down quite a lot. So yeah, for me, my body is feeling it. And it's about being just really honest with yourself about that, because it's okay, you know. And I really have honored like the fact of being all in now for this, but knowing that I can't be all in all the time. So from the end of this week after my event, everything starts to slow down for me. And that's why I felt like it was a good time to have a pause from the podcast as well, because it's nice to just have a reset, you know, energetically, spiritually, all of the things. And within that as well, I want to talk a little bit about what happens in burnout, because as you know, burnout was a place I was comfortable with for most of my life. You know, I would say all the way up to the pandemic, I lived in constant burnout. I wasn't honoring rest. I wasn't, yeah, taking time to fill my cup up. So I was constantly running on empty. And I had a moment of that this week, and I wanted to share it with you because I know a few people will kind of resonate, because I shared this on my TikTok today and a lot of people were commenting on it. So I was like, okay, well, clearly it's something that needs to be shared. So basically, when we start, like I said, a new chapter, the old chapter has to release. But as you're doing that transition phase, the universe will send you tests. Now, we are currently embarking on a new moon as well. So, when I'm recording this, so by the time I've recorded it, the new moon would have passed. So, you know, let me know your thoughts on what happened this week. So, leading up to the new moon, I was noticing that old behavior patterns, old limiting beliefs, old thoughts that I felt like I'd dealt with a long time ago were kind of trickling in. Now, this is interconnected to the burnout because, as I said, I've been running on empty. So, if you think about your cup being filled with like liquid gold, for example, and that gold, beautiful energy feeds out into everything you do, into everyone you speak with. Now, once the gold layer has disappeared, it then probably goes to, you know, silver, then lead, you know, then all of these things, it goes down in layers about what you've got left. And the bottom of what you have left is literally the debris of who you used to be. And I noticed that for myself this week because obviously, as I said, I'm physically exhausted from, you know, just doing lots of delivery. And yeah, I just noticed those old thought patterns come up and I was like, I see you. And this is the beauty about being self-aware. And you know, you hear me talk about this all the time. But when we are self-aware, we can identify that that is what it is. Because sometimes what happens is when we're not self aware, we take our thoughts as literal and we believe them 100% and think that they must be right. A lot of the time, the negative thoughts or the lower vibrational thoughts are your ego. And I speak about this a lot, about how your ego tries to protect you. So your ego wants to keep you familiar and with what you're used to. So that would be your old limiting beliefs. So your ego feels the most comfortable in that space. So it could even be down to say you used to worry about money a lot. So then all of a sudden out of nowhere you're worrying about money again, but actually you know that you've been working so many hours that you've got more than enough money coming in, right? Or that there's a couple of bills that you need to pay for, but equally they're for nice things that you're looking forward to, but you're going into a habit of being like, oh gosh, I got to pay for this, instead of being like, oh, I'm so grateful I get to pay that. And I know that's a hard one, right? Because paying out for things isn't something we're accustomed to being grateful for, but something that I teach and something that I know for myself is that when we reframe how we pay for the things that we don't want or accept the things we don't want, and we know it's a stepping stone in the right direction, and you know, with money, that's an honor that you, I say honor is probably not the right word, to be grateful the fact that you are now in a situation where the money you earn gets to pay for the things you want instead of having to borrow money or not doing the thing you want. So that's kind of the reframe on that. But equally, it can come up for you know, self image things. Like you might find that because you're tired, you're looking at yourself in the mirror thinking, oh my gosh, I look tired, or my hair looks gross, you know, like you start going down those self-deprecating thought patterns. It could be that you start to nitpick in the people in your life. So, you know, because you're tired and aggy, you start to snap at people that you love. You're short with friends, you know, all of those things. This is how that permeates. So if you are identifying with any of these things that have come up for you this week, it's all part of the end of that lunar cycle, because the the new moon we had in Capricorn in January This and then we went into the full moon in Leo. So that's all like a continuation of this energy and that Leo full moon, that purging out, allowing us to be everything we want to be and more. This is the ending of that. So with when we step into that higher self, as I keep saying, the old stuff again comes with it. So now going into a completely new lunar cycle with the Aquarius new moon, this is all about the expansion. So Aquarius amplifies anything it touches, a bit like, well, I guess like Jupiter in a way, but with Aquarius, it's breaking the rules. So it's breaking free. It's like setting a new course, a new direction, a new path. So this new moon in particular is really urging you to step into your fullest self and to be really honest. Like just be completely transparent in who you are, what you stand for. And this will affect not only us as individuals, but the collective. So what you choose to do for yourself will inevitably affect everyone in your life. So that's why it's so important that you are in alignment and integrity by like with you, with who you stand to be, you know. And what I mean by that is say what you're going to do, you know, like if you're going to do something, do it. You know, if you have decided that this year you were going to go plant-based, you have to stand by being plant-based, because if you're not, everyone around you is accommodated to this new lifestyle choice that you've chosen. So it's almost like the knock-on effect has an effect on everyone around you. Now that's probably not a good idea. And that's probably not a good example, because uh obviously what you choose to do with your lifestyle is up to you. But what I mean is anything you choose to do, any pathway you choose from right this moment will affect everyone around you, but in the best way. So that's why it's so important to be just fully accepting of who you are. And if you're not there yet, you know, maybe that's something you write down that you want to achieve for this time now, or maybe 2024, like go back to what your intentions were. What did you set out to do in that time? Like what did you um choose to, yeah, to do and be for this year? Because Aquarius energy is all about that, pushing you forward in the direction you want to go in. And yeah, I mean it's literally crazy up in the sky at the moment. There's like, I think Pluto, the sun, the moon, Mars, Uranus and Neptune. No, Neptune's in Pisces, but basically there's like 4 or 5 planets that are in Aquarius right now. So it is that major break free energy, and you're going to see that in government, you're going to see that on the internet, like, and as well, like these innovations, like innovative things are going to come forward. You might find that you have really lovely dreams. You might find that you were looking at something from one perspective for a long time, and all of a sudden out of nowhere you can see a different side to it, and it's opened your view, you know, opened your mind's eye, you know, to some extent. So it's a really lovely space to be coming into. But with that being said, every side has a shadow side. So if you haven't been sure on what you want to do or be on and all the things, you might start to feel a bit of pressure for yourself. But what I would say is follow the nudges, because your body, your mind, your soul, the universe is always sending you little nudges. And I always, when I want to know the answer for something that I have no idea on, I'll ask the universe to show me. I'm like, okay, universe, show me the which way to go, show me if that's right for me, show me this, you know. I always say that. So I kind of, and then without realizing, I follow the course, and I'm like, oh, I was always supposed to do that. And yeah, it's the same with conversations as well, you know. I When I was kind of transitioning through cutting some things and people out of my life, I would ask the universe for, you know, great conversations, great connections with people. And if that wasn't met, I was like, okay, the universe is showing me now that that wasn't meant to be, or that wasn't supposed to be. But equally, what you ask for, you will receive. So a lot of the time, maybe we're holding on to something, it well, your mind, for example. So if you're, like I said, trying to set a new belief pattern that you are beautiful, and you have been ingrained for so long that you haven't been beautiful, the case study on you is the fact that you aren't beautiful. So everywhere you go, every mirror you look in, you're always going to see your flaws. Whereas if you can train yourself to see the thing you want to see, so for example, the fact you're beautiful, every time you look in the mirror, you'll have to find something you like about yourself. And then that is what you'll then to default start to see when you look in the mirror. And this is why change and new pathways or exciting things that you want aren't just straightforward. It's not just a click of a finger moment like, okay, great, I'm going to decide to be love myself today. Yay. It's not that. The journey to self-love is relentless, and you have to constantly choose it over and over again. And I know that all of this circles back and completely just ties in together with everything I always say, because it is always interconnected. And that's why it's kind of important that I give you that to sit on, really. And just I ask you, whilst you have these couple of weeks off, maybe you come back and listen to something else or whatever, but just to be reflective for yourself. What have you learned so far in 2024? What are the things that have gone well for you? What are the things that haven't? What are you looking to move forward with? What are you looking to change? What are you looking to stay the same because you enjoy it? Like, all of these moments are so important. And I always like have a space where I do self-inquire, and that'll be over this weekend for me after my event. On Sunday, I've got a sports massage booked in, and I'm just going to sit with myself and really just tune in and ask myself, what have I learned this year? What's been different? What can I do better? All of the things. And what's really important as well to acknowledge is that this Aquarius season, and the Aquarius new moon will affect the house that Aquarius is in for you. So for me, it's all about partnerships and relationships, and that's with everyone in my life. So, it could be my community, like you all listening, it could be with my family, it could be with a partner, it could be with, my sister or friends. It's all interconnected in some form of a way. So that's my house, and I'm a Leo. So if you're a Leo too, it's going to be your seventh house. But you can kind of work it out that way. So, like, if you're a Cancerian, it'll be your sixth house. If you're Gemini, it'll be your fifth house. I might as well keep going. If you're a Taurus, it'll be your fourth house. If it is, I'm trying to work backwards now. I should have done this the other way around. Aries, third house, and then Pisces, second house, and then, yeah, Aquarius, first house. That's it. There we go. So, yeah, it's kind of all mapped out kind of like that. Now, don't quote me on that, because I could be wrong on that, because I'm literally just guessing from a tired space. If I get it wrong, I apologize. But also, it depends on your rising and not on your sun sign. So that's probably going to confuse you. So actually, I've probably just made that a lot worse. If you don't know about astrology, I've probably just thrown a massive spanner in the works with you. So I'm sorry, that wasn't my intention. I was just on a roll there. But yeah, whatever house it is, you can Google it. So literally just Google your sun, moon, and rising, and or your 12 house chart, whatever it is that you want to Google, and it will show you where Aquarius sits in your houses, and each house represents something, as I just said. So that gives you a bit of an insight on what is going to be affected during these couple of weeks. But inevitably, like I said, everything is constantly moving for your favor. So if you are going for a Saturn return right now, so anyone with a Pisces placement, Pisces Saturn placement, you're going for your Saturn return. So that is anyone between the ages of 32 to 27, that kind of age range right now, you could potentially be going through your Saturn return as well. So all of this energy is shaking up. All of these transits that are happening right now, especially the Pluto one, we haven't had ever in our lifetime. So it's new for everyone, like literally everyone, because no one's 226 years old. So, there's no one around, there's no one physically alive that's experienced this before. So, yeah, it's about learning just new things about ourselves, being open to what the universe wants to show us, and yeah, just being mindful of everything we're doing. And I think that's just, being self-aware, that's all tied into this space. So yeah, I kind of want to leave it there, because I feel like I'm rambling on about loads of stuff, really, to be honest. But it's been a really great season. It's been lovely to have so many amazing guests on the podcast, and I've got some more coming soon as well. So I'm really excited to share that with you. But yeah, I'm just sending you lots of love and light, and just, reminding you that you are your purpose, what you love to do and what you're good at, they're all tied into the makings of you. So maybe from this, you're like, okay, what was the thing I set out to do this year? Have I done it yet? Am I taking steps towards it yet? And if not, this is your sign to step forward into that. I'm wishing you a lovely rest of February. Happy, yeah, happy love days, happy pancake day, all of the things. I just send you so much love and light, and a happy new moon in Aquarius as well. And yeah, I think I will be back just after the full moon. So that'll be exciting. And yeah, we'll get started for March. And I'm excited to kind of see yeah, what March brings, the new energy. And we're stepping into spring. And then we're nearly at the astrological new year, which is in April. So I'm so excited for that. And I feel like the closer we get, the more shifts and we just enter this new energy space. But I can already feel it, and just know that whatever's purging up needs to be released. And that's why it's coming to the surface. So sending you so much love and light. And yeah, have a lovely rest. And I'll be back with season 3 real soon.